Hi, my name is Mehr Hussain. I am a multidisciplinary filmmaker originally from Pakistan, and now I live in the UAE. I think every time I do a project now, it's very reaffirming. So every time I do a new project, or every time I go to give a talk somewhere, every time I mentor, every time I attend an event and I actually know what's going on, I feel very affirmed. And at the same time, I'm very excited because every time you go onto a new project, because the thing about films is, they wrap, they end, and you kind of leave these little families and units behind. But every time there's a new project, every time there's a reunion, every time there's a new milestone, because film is working in parallel constantly, I get excited. And I feel like every little milestone should be celebrated because this is not an easy job by any means. I think I was 4 years old the first time I saw The Fifth Element, which is a really amazing sci-fi film from the 90s. And when I saw it for the first time, I remember thinking that anything to do with that, that's what I want to do with my life. I was too young to understand how TVs even worked or what filmmaking actually was. But when I saw that film, it really had a huge impact on me. And it also led me to start exploring other genres. But my first love was sci-fi and fantasy. And of course, Disney films, and historical dramas that I used to watch with my dad, or Nat Geo documentaries I used to watch with my grandfather. And I remember seeing this little magical box that had all these different worlds in it and playing them over and over again in my head as a child. And that kind of led me down the path of pursuing filmmaking or creating. Because when I was growing up, my parents didn't actually support me being a filmmaker compared to a lot of traditional career paths. So I ended up doing journalism, marketing, studying media and broadcast, and eventually found myself being able to pursue my dream once I was established in my marketing and my broadcast career. It's a really good question. I think it's just self-confidence, and it's having people in your corner and your core foundation, whether it's family, found family, or friends. Be people who keep you humble, keep you grounded, people who are honest with you. And outside of that circle, that inner circle, you are also making sure that you're in rooms and doing business and in conversations and discussions and celebrating and exploring the artistic industry with people that constantly raise your standards, people who challenge you. Don't be interested in being a big fish in a small pond. You always have to be ready to challenge yourself and navigate more interesting and exciting waters. It's not enough to just stick in one place, if that makes sense. I don't think the challenges were specifically related to being in a new country. Obviously, moving abroad and away from home can be challenging no matter what avenue or career that you're pursuing. And it comes with an adjustment period. But luckily, I had already been working here full-time in marketing and media for a few years before I made the shift or made the natural evolution over to independent filmmaking and creative direction, as well as acting. So the challenges that come with that, regardless of where you're based, are pretty standard. There's a lot of information online, a saturation, if you will, that comes with the creative industry, because as I said, there's really no one way to do it. You have to learn the basics, discipline yourself, be your own marketer, be your own agent, and then find very specifically what works for you. You also have to get to know yourself as an artist, which is so important. And that comes with consuming and watching a lot of literature and media as well, and forming opinions. It's not enough to just say that I've watched 300 movies or I've watched the top 100 movies that you're supposed to watch before you die. What genres are you exploring? Are you aware of the history of cinema in your own country, or the creative arts or the performing arts? Are you aware of humanity's history in relationship with arts and storytelling? So I think it comes back to that, and it's more of a philosophical or a artistic challenge more than anything. And I think more so when you go to another country, you have to remember that you have to represent your heritage and your legacy and build something new that you bring to the arts. So I'm a huge advocate of having female-driven narratives and stories, particularly when it comes to invisible jobs. So women in society, in homes, in relationships, in workplaces, take up a lot of invisible labor, which means they do a lot of the work that keeps everybody comfortable and keeps things flowing and going. But not a lot of people appreciate it because everything's working well, right? So nobody ever notices the difference until like that key female counterpart is taken out of the equation, or if they're sick or something, everybody's just kind of at a loss for what to do. So a lot of the times my stories, even if they have elements of like superheroes or something supernatural, because I love doing genre films, right? They will have that core theme baked into it. And I think that that is something that I picked up a lot of when I was a child, and I would look around and see women doing so much invisible and emotional labor. But it's not my mission to define any person's role, which they choose for themselves. I think it's more so just about raising awareness, and my films are a commentary on what those invisible roles and that invisible labor looks like. And I want people to get thinking about how we can share that and make the world a better place. I also, like, again, I'm a proponent of everybody choosing what role they play in their lives or in the lives of others, but you can't always choose it. So I think my films capture that a lot. And then by extension, also human relationships. Like for me, the female relationships that I've had in my life play such a huge part in my self-confidence, my self-worth, my ambition, my drive, my curiosity. And so female friendships in intergroups or families, places of work, your found family, that is also an element that's always present in my films and my storytelling. And that is all stuff that I've picked up from my life in Pakistan. So the first film I ever made was in the UAE. And wow, any filmmaker will tell you the first film is the hardest one. But it's also the one that has like the most good memories around it as well. You learned so much from a technical standpoint, but I think one of the most valuable lessons I learned was working with people. Every single person on set has a different style of working. Every single person on set brings a different set of skills, a different style. Good ideas can come from anywhere. So always create a space on the sets that you're on, or if you're just attending, like make sure that everybody is working together to facilitate a space where there's respect, where there's openness and honesty, where people feel safe, not just to express themselves, but also to share their opinions and their concerns. Sometimes we don't have time, or we don't have budget, or we don't always have all the resources that we would like, but what we can control is creating an environment where there's mutual respect, ambition towards a goal, and a safe space to express ourselves creatively. I would say that my life would be something like The Taming of the Shrew meets Twelfth Night. Themes of both plays are very prevalent throughout my life. I've always been a very outspoken individual, especially as a young woman. I've always been confident. I've never cared what people thought. I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but I'm just saying that those are the facts. And I think that the belief that, again, the core people in my life have always had in me, and the confidence that they've given me, that's taken me really far. So it's super important for people to support artistic souls. It's not enough to like see someone who's a driven artist and who's putting their heart and soul into the work and to just clap and cheer them on from the sidelines. You really have to support people who pursue the creative arts, because, you know, traditional society isn't built in a way to stack things in their favor, because people forget how crucial it is. And also, as I said, it's a very difficult job to do. So remember to support the people in your life that are pursuing something different or something crazy. You know, go to their films, comment on their videos, like give them engagement, there's so many things you can do for people who are in this field, right? And so again, that's what my story and my play would be. And sure, like I'm in the center of the melee of something like Twelfth Night or Taming of the Shrew, but it's the cast of everyone around me that keeps the show going. I can't answer that question because I only listen to myself. I can't really answer that question because I only listen to myself. I trust myself and I trust God. So that's primarily what it is, right? But I think I have this inner voice that just reminds me that I have a sense of responsibility. I am very privileged to be following the career that I do. It's not a very traditional pathway. I haven't done it in a traditional way either. I'm so grateful for the support of my family, who, by the way, have come around, obviously, to the idea of me doing the creative arts and are extremely supportive of my acting and my filmmaking. So I guess whatever inner voice that I have, or guiding voice, if you want to call it, is just me reminding myself to be grounded and reminding myself that there's that little 10, 11, 12-year-old girl that always wanted to do this and never actually believed she could. So when I was younger, I never thought that this would actually happen, but I just knew. I knew somehow that it would. I just didn't know how. So I guess that's the guiding voice in my head.